Right, well it's winter, so what we're going to do today is make some beef dripping bird cakes. So what we need to do first is make a pan marie, which is a pan of currently cold water, and we'll stick it onto a bowl and we'll stick in a Pyrex dish, and then we can melt some fat in the dish and hopefully mix in some ingredients. So let's turn that on and we'll bring that on to boil. Hopefully that'll take 5 minutes, so we'll come back in a couple of minutes. While the water's on to boil, we can get sort of the contents of the cake sorted out. So I've got here a bag of peanuts. Birds have already been eating some, so it's open. So we'll stick the mixer blade in. You have to make a guess how many peanuts, so that's about 3 handfuls or about 5 handfuls. Put the clip back around that to keep them good, and then we'll stick in some sultanas so they get a bit of variety. And it's just a case of blitzing this down so that the sultanas and peanuts are broken up a bit, then it helps to bind in with the fat later. Right, so click that on. Where's the lid? There we go, lid. Stop that's going everywhere. Get that on. This bit's noisy, by the way. Have a look to see how coarse that is. You don't want it too fine. There we go. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. See if we can do a little bit more. I'll just get the sultanas cut up just a little bit more. Right, let's give them more of a blitz. Now, so what we've got in the end is sort of a mixture that looks a bit like that. Right, next step, whilst we're still waiting for the water to boil, is making the containers to put the fat in. So I reckon we're going to probably make about 10 today, so what, 5? Oh, another 5 cups out. So I'm just using plain old plastic drinking cups here, nice and cheap. But they do for just holding the fat and peanuts together. Now what you need to do is make a hole in the bottom so that we can thread this string through. So the easiest way of doing that is, whilst following the normal, the knife is sharp, try and make a hole in the bottom of one. You have to watch out because the plastic cups are generally so weak that if you do them one at a time they'll just collapse like that. If you stack a few like that and just work your way through, it usually seems to work. So you want the hole big enough so you can actually push the string through. So I should be able to get a string through that hole. Let's do a couple more, and then we'll do the classic Blue Peter bit and skip to the next step. Right, there we go. As if by magic, we've got them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, so I didn't count properly earlier. What I'm using this time is just normal twine. So you need just enough so you can hang it. I know roughly that should be enough, so what I do quite easily, just try and poke this through. Where you've made the hole a little bit small, bit of a help from the knife, just to ease the twine through. Once you've got it in there, you have to sort of fish down. If I was using just a cheap cup, it cups like that and come back. Right, get that through, Tie a double knot in the end so it doesn't pull off. There we go, pull that back up. And we have a cup. So that will hang like that. Once we've got all the fat solid, you just cut the sides off, and I'll show you that later. But there we go, there's the inside. We'll pour that. So I'll get on, I'll do the other 8. By which point the water should be boiling. Right, well, as you can see, water's boiling. So we're going to stick some beef dripping in. I usually cut this up into smaller amounts. It's just a case of dropping in. Don't put too much in. You sort of want to put in probably enough to do 1 or 2 cups at a time. I'll stick a little bit more in. That'll just melt down now. Just the same as really when you're melting chocolate for making cakes. Let's stick that out of the way. Now I've just got to wait for that to melt. It's starting to melt. So, right, so now we'll get a bigger bowl out to mix it all up in. Well, as you can see, it's almost all melted. So, just got to about give it a stir and then wait for about, will be about another 30 seconds, and then we'll be ready. Right, as you can see, the fat's pretty much all melted. That one last little bit left, that'll melt in a minute. So, I've found that standing the plastic cups up in the muffin tray helps. So it's just a case of feeding in the bits until you can sort of get a sticky mixture. You don't want it too dry, but you don't want it too wet. So, needs to be enough fat between all the different bits. Once the fat's dry, it holds it together. Now remember, that is molten fat in there, so it is going to be quite warm. Fortunately, I'm blessed with asbestos fingers, so I normally survive. Right, so now, so you can see it's all nice and shiny and covered in the fat. It's just a case of spooning in some of the cups. You don't have to fill them all up one at a time. So what I tend to do is I've guessed at about enough fat for 6, so just slowly just load up each of these and then we'll see how we go. How? I may have asbestos fingers, but I do still feel it after a while. There we go, time to get the tea towel out. You do really want to sort of drip in a bit of the extra liquid fat as well into each one. But there, so we've got 6 of them started off. And that gives you an idea. Yeah, currently they're only full to about that much, so not really very full, so we've got to do a little bit more. We've got that much nuts left, so we may need to actually grind some more nuts up, but off we go, let's melt some more fat. Right, we've got some more fat melted. Bubbling away. Right, what we're going to do is just stick a spoonful over the top of what we put in before. That helps soak down in between it all and it forms a quite nice base. Particularly as the fat have already started to solidify from the previous soak. Right, we'll add a little bit more of our mix, probably about half of what's in there. Give that a stir again. And again it's sort of shiny, slightly wet and goopy. So we end up with a consistency of about that is really what I think we should aim for. So let's spoon this across. The other advantage to using the muffin tray is you don't get your worktop covered in fat, which can be a bit of a pain to clean off afterwards. Pick it up with a towel again. Right, so we need to do again one more load and we'll be done. So I'll chop some more fat up, put that in the water, or in the bowl that's in the water, and we'll heat that up. And then we can show you the finished article. Because it looked like I was going to run out of stuff to go in, I'm just going to blitz down a little bit more peanuts and raisins whilst that fat's mixed. There we go, so that's those ready. Take the blade out, put that to the side. I think that'll definitely be enough to finish with. At the moment, out of that £1 block of fat, we've got like just about that much left, which is just like 150 grams or so left. It's melting away. Right. Fingers crossed, last load. The bowl's getting hotter each time. Right, ow, just going to melt the last bit of fat. So I'll just cut that off and drop that in the bowl, and that will just cap off the cups. Right, last go. Just going to stick I'll stick a few, not too many. I want this to be a wetter mix for the final cap. There we go. Tea towel to hold it. Stir it up, and off we go. It's just a case of now spreading it out amongst all of them. There. And what I like to do, just to make sure that, is just tamp it down a bit inside the cup. It's just a case now of let that sit for an hour or so to dry. The few spare nuts that are left, well, they'll go out for the birds tonight. And we can put one of them out tomorrow.